Okay. So I'm humbly moderating this meeting. Welcome to this the science cabin for your residents, and thank you for your selecting. And okay. So the first we would like to ask you identify yourself and introduce yourself to colleagues. First,
I'm Klega. I'm an artist and make installations, drawings, videos, but mostly kind of like assistant ready-mades. So on the basis of ready-mades.
I'm Marty Miller. I used to live in Korea for a while. Now I live in Hong Kong, and I am doing mostly found object and photography installation. And I have a strong interest in sound design.
which design?
Sound design.
Sound design.
But just amateur.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'm studying social design and consciousness in Hong Kong.
영어로 하셔도 되고 한글로 하셔도 되고 말씀하실 때.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Yuna Kim. I'm artist. My base is photography, and I'm interested about language and human relationship. Thank you.
You are living in Busan?
고향이 부산이고 지금 무슨 일을 하는 게 있어서 지금 잠시 부산에 있어요. 네.
그러면
거의 서울에서.
Okay, you are living in Seoul and you have a special work in Busan. That's why you live in Busan right now.
I'm Kim, ScienceWalden, Science Cabin Manager. If you guys have any question about the living here, stuff, facility around here, let me know. I'm going to help you. Thank you.
I'm Kim. I'm a composer / improviser, and electroacoustic music, electronic music, noise, contemporary music, new music are the keywords to describe what I do. Yes, and I'm a research assistant professor at ScienceWalden. I have joined this team since this February. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, we can be relaxed.
Yeah, of course. I feel very comfortable here in the science cabin. So this is not perfect the place to live, but interesting place. I hope that we have a lab over there. So we are going to introduce overall the facilities, including lab in the main building of the units on Thursday by Dr. Kim. So you may visit the engineering lab and scientific lab to get some idea for your work in here. So you probably ask them to introduce their research with the graduate students over there. So there are biological, chemicals, and many different research over there. So we have a person here. So we have 3 toilets. I'm not sure you share with the different gender. Is it okay? And also the connected to the anaerobic digestion to produce a biogas. Biogas I'm not sure we can use biogas, but you don't have to use biogas. Biogas connected to electric generation in the lab. Okay, so a lot of things are happening right now in here. So you can utilize those for your work.
So like all of this power is coming from the biogas from the lab?
I hope so, but it's not. So a lot of person actually ask us about that, but so this is another energy project. This is more likely associated the project to solve the problems using collaboration between scientists and artists.
Oh.
Okay. So we hope we can make any waste from this house, but actually not. We are producing a lot of plastic as well. But so we tried. Right. Absolutely. Yes.
So is that the main problem?
Main problem what?
Like you said, like that we can be introduced to like some of the problems or issues that scientists are having.
So when proposing this the ScienceWalden project, so we listed a few the problems. The first one, economic inequality, okay, and climate change, and actually alienation from other individuals. So there are three most important problems we are right now have to try to solve. So that's why sometimes we have to use a scientific method such as the connectivity between society member, community member using social network designed based on our the proposed concept such as physics standard money and alternative democracy. So that's why we bring this one into our society. The people naturally to be connected to each other. Also, we bring the physics standard money and other value, especially hidden and underutilized one, and into some kind of into the bright side, so that our community use those to distribute evenly or differently with separated and low-income person, for example. So right now it's the middle of our project. So we propose different concepts: physics standard money, spontaneity, so-called alternative democracy. So we are going to discuss this one as well. But basically three main problems. Other questions?
Very far reaching.
How often do people use this lab?
Lab.
Yeah.
Okay, there are mainly three different parts. So water part, especially focusing on wastewater reclamation part, and biological process part, and electric generation part. So mostly graduate students, I think, drop by twice a day.
Okay.
Not that much. Sure.
Okay.
They are not going to stay there to operate those on there. Everything is automatic apparatus.
But like they're okay if we stare at them? It's like
It's just
scientists doing science stuff?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, they don't
you
mind.
can drop by. So
Okay.
please careful about kind of safety.
Oh, sure. I mean, I could look at them through the window.
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely,
that's
absolutely, no problem.
All right.
Even coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
So that's why Dr. Kim Ja-e will introduce kind of OT orientation, including this site, place lab, and engineering lab. So you are now here to actually touch, sense every instrument to bring some kind of a hidden essence into your work. So that's why you are here.
You said we can touch things?
Yeah, so with the permit
Okay.
of the research responsible for each instrument.
Oh.
But that's why
Yeah.
Dr. Kim actually introduced
Okay.
on Thursday. Okay.
Cool.
혹시 질문 있으시면 어떤 아직은 뭐
네.
OT 때 들으셔서
네.
그죠?
So the first the question from director, which is me, is so we've been asked continuously by other person. So they are sometimes very picky, very very conservative in their criticizing the project. So whenever they actually encounter our research result, including this science cabin, they ask us, where is art? Okay, so where is scientific, the fact, the scientific aspect, as opposed to artistic work, artistic perspective. So if you, please imagine, or suppose you are asked by them, what could be your answer to that question? So that's my first question. Okay, I will ask this one at the end of this residency, the first day.
So wait, let me see if I understand.
Okay.
Someone comes to me and they look around
Sure.
and they say, "Oh, are you residency artist?" I say yes. They say, "Okay, where's your art?" Is that
Because you are doing convergence of science and arts.
Okay.
Where is it?
How long have I been here? Yeah.
So that's the stupid question, I believe. But they are stakeholder sometimes. It's a government person. So we have to, by the way, so we have to answer to that question sometimes.
I say, let's make some tea together and talk.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Any idea? At least I can initiate your motivation or stir your. Because if you answer, so this is my work with the photo or flag or sound and the noise making or the photography of the plant, and so they may ask you again and after your answer. So if you have that the specific subject of interest to you, why not actually separately do your own work based on or according to your artistic principle, artistic perspective, instead of doing this one together with the scientist? 이 무슨 질문이냐면요, 아시겠지만 조금 더 클리어하게 하기 위해서 만약에 이제 누군가 와서 어디에 이 빌딩 혹은 지금 작업하시는 작가님의 작품을 어디에 과학이 있고 어디에 예술이 있다 이렇게 물어볼 수 있을 것 같아요. 늘 제가 받는 질문. 그랬을 때 나 일입니다 이렇게 얘기하면 이거야 음악가로서 하실 수 있는 거 아니냐, 그다음에 사진 작가로서 하실 수 있는 거 아니냐, 근데 굳이 왜 여기서 해야만 되느냐라는 질문들을 정말 끊임없이 받아왔거든요. 이럴 때 어떻게 답을 할 건지, 꼭 답을 요청드리는 건 아니지만 그런 상황을 조금 설명드립니다. I'm not asking you you should answer to that question, but this might be a situation under which we are doing it right now. because we are supported by government. Okay.
It's always the same question.
By who?
Yeah, but people who kind of try to go to museums or galleries.
They always ask.
On the other hand, I think museums and galleries in London have more footfall than football stadium put together. So maybe people are just curious. Maybe it's about curiosity that also needs to be kind of taught, or you have to have a drive to be curious. I think about this because so
Klega, how do you actually define arts? Personally. So this is another stupid question. I know. So, but I dare. I have a college to ask you because we are colleagues right now. Okay. So this is stupid, and I probably understand. I know I don't, or I should not ask to with this types of question, but so I'm engineer right now. So we have difficulties to answer towards our government. So I agree, there are a lot of work with curiosities and new horizon from our work. I understand, but the before, prior to official starting of this residency, as host, if you don't mind, I would ask you, what could be a definition of art to you?
I think in modern art it's not also, it's the point of not being kind of limited by conceptual disciplinary conditions. So artists have always confronted each other's work, opposed each other's work, and at the same time they try to appropriate those things other people think by definition being outside art.
Okay.
So art is a moving thing. It does not stop, and it does not contemporary modern art. It does not stop kind of becoming, or it does not try to become a discipline. It is in a way it's fundamentally opposed to creating a defined, limited form of discipline. And therefore, my answer to this question, what is art? It's kind of, it's the practice of escaping this definition.
Okay.
So the question is wrong. It makes no sense in terms of contemporary or modern art.
Yeah, you mentioned contemporary art. So is it different from modern art, or pretty similar, but you are using two
You
terms
can
inside
segment
it?
differently.
Okay. Okay.
But it doesn't matter. It's just opposed to Renaissance, Baroque, whatever. Where you have where you can generalize. This is art in this kind of age. You can't do it for modern art, I don't think so. Except that all modern contemporary art try to avoid being defined in some way.
And so following your comment around sort of I'll get back to you soon. So you mentioned the form. It's absolutely you. I feel that you're opposed to the form. So, so without form, the artist can make their artistic work. So they intend to not use any form, but they probably use form.
Yeah, usually in a kind of dialogue or confrontation, you know, you have I don't know, abstract expressionism, and then counter movements, minimalism, and pop art. It always goes in different segments, and it changes, and it's sort of more subtle. Basically, the discourse between art. So this question of what is art, what are the rules, what is the discipline? I think it's wrong. It is basically opposed to being a discipline. While it is always a discipline, it has no limits. But I think that's the difference to science, because science unfortunately fractures very quickly into kind of departmental and disciplinary segments. So obviously in the last 20, 30 years we had this kind of interdisciplinary science, which I think grew out as this frustration of being in a discipline.
Yeah. So absolutely, I'm Korean, so I don't have any native feeling about English words. But you mentioned discipline. Okay, so I'm not sure I have exactly same equivalent words to the discipline, but I try to understand what discipline is. But so without discipline and opposing to discipline, so what kind of methodology actually artists try to pursue? So discipline and reflective, some kind of things. So which one do you prefer to take against discipline?
I think reflective.
Reflective.
I would personally. Yeah. Something grounded also. Something that involves like intention, but lack of foresight to some degree. I can't see the outcome. I have my intention, and I can intuit what the next step will be based off of what brought me to the current step. And I had an intention of where I wanted to go. But yeah, I mean that's my case.
Okay. As an artist, you would like to bring some kind of anything into world. So when you let me take the example. So you actually observe bamboo or other the human or relations. So that you would like to do, and then you actually extract some kind of things into your work from each. So that could be intuition you mentioned.
Yeah, could be.
Could be.
But it could also just be built off of some prior experience or some like haptic response that triggers some emotional memory that I have.
You are talking about image.
Or like the like touching the bamboo, right? Bamboo, right? Yeah. Maybe like the coolness of it somehow like triggers a certain like depth of feeling that I used to have. And it's that feeling that I want to try to work with.
Feeling is more important
for me. I would say, yeah, but just my.
Is there any artist without to do their work without feeling?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, some artists create robots, so the robots make the work.
robot.
Yeah.
How about what do you think about the scientists? The scientists never use Philly, do you think?
Oh, never? Really?
No, not never, so I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
how much they use
I
Philly?
don't know. I would say a lot. Just a guess.
Should it be a lot, do you think?
I mean, you have to stay objective, right? But you can have emotion, right? I don't know. Like, who's a scientist here? Okay.
I'm engineer, but it would be ex-scientist,
Former scientist?
former scientist.
So is that true? I mean, like, to what degree is that true? You know?
Not.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, she's,
I mean, yeah, the scientists should have to be objective.
and emotional at the same time.
But yeah, they're human.
They're human. Yeah. I mean, like, what drives you to try to figure something out? You know, what is there something besides just some, I don't know, is there some qualitative experience that you're seeking through trying to engineer or improve something that, you know, could be, that you can't quite express, but you can feel as part of that motivation? I don't know, is that true?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, then I think it's kind of similar.
That's the right way, but a lot of scientists they actually do not.
Yeah, they follow the money. Same as artists. That's why there's so much bad art.
Sometimes money, sometimes work for only publications.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
Many sometimes approach.
Well, same with artists trying to, like, get into certain galleries and, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, they lose the original spirit of it. Yeah. Huh.
예술 영어로 하시면 편하시네요. 예.
Sorry, yeah, it's like really complicated in Korean. Yeah, it's better.
예술을 어떻게 이게 굉장히 결례가 되는 질문인 걸 알면서도 그냥 이렇게 무례가 된다는 걸 알면서도 그냥 이렇게 용감하게 여쭤보거든요.
네.
무식하다고 생각해 주시고 이렇게 예술에 대해서 예술을 어떻게 좀 정의하고 예술가로서 어떻게 작업을 하시는지 좀 설명을 해주시면 좋을 것 같아서요.
제가 생각하는 예술과
네.
어떻게 작업을
예.
하는지.
예.
늘 하는 질문인 것
받으시는
같은데,
질문.
네, 쉬우면서도 참 어려운 것 같아요.
네.
작업을 할 때에 제가 취하고 싶은 태도는 제 삶과, 그러니까 제가 살아가고 있는 모습과 작업이 일치되기를 원하는데, 말처럼 쉽진 않은 것 같아요. 그리고 작업을 하는 저의 태도는 한 몇 년 전만 해도 작업을 하고 싶다였는데, 시간이 지나면 지날수록 작업을 해야만 하는구나.
왜요?
그러니까 예를 들면
네.
너무 현실적인 얘기인데, 뭐 돈을 벌고 뭐 일을 하고 뭐 이런 거를 하면서 그것들이 영감이 되기는 하지만 뭐 직접적인 작업은 아니잖아요. 근데 이제 사실 그게 중요하니까요. 그런 것들을, 그런 일상생활을 하면서 느끼는 것들이 더 갈망하게 되는, 그러니까 작업을 해야만 하는구나, 이런 생각을 하고 있습니다.
근데 이제 조금 이제 다르게 질문을 좀
네.
드리고 싶은데요. 누구나 다 이제 먹고 살기 위해서 뭘 한다.
네.
먹고 살기 위해서 교수도 하고
네.
직장도 가지고 이제 이럴 수 있잖아요. 누구든지 다 그렇게 할 수 있는데, 근데 그 사람들의 그 마음 깊숙이 들어가 보면 꼭 그런 것만은 아닌 것들이 사람들이 있잖아요.
네.
물 먹고도 살아야 되겠지만 그걸 하지 않으면 죽을 것 같아서 하는 경우도
네.
있잖아요.
네.
근데 그걸 이제 너무 좀 이렇게 이상적으로 얘기하는 건 아니라
네.
은퇴한 사람들이 너무너무 힘들어하는 경우도 있잖아요. 그러면 진짜 그 일이 꼭 돈 때문은 아니었구나라는 걸
네.
뒤에 알게
네.
되는 경우도 있잖아요. 그것을 아직은 많이 젊으시니까 못 느끼시는지 아니면 약간 예술가들은 우리들하고 다르게 그런 감각을 가지고 계신지.
그게 작업인 것 같아요. 그러니까 시간이 지나면 지날수록 사실 제 삶에서 작업을 빼면은 이게 살아가는 원동력이고 때로는 이것 때문에 좌절을 할 때도 많지만 그래도 네. 그러니까 평생 작업을 하면서 살고 싶어요.
그런 게 예술이다.
아 그런 게 예술이다. 정의를 내려야 돼.
아니 꼭 안 하셔도 돼요. 꼭 You don't have to define art. Art is everywhere, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'm curious what you said. Can you translate? Yeah. I'm just curious. I only understood some. Yeah.
Translate, please.
President, bilingual translator.
She
Be careful.
understands correctly.
파파고.
Papago, did you?
Papago's genius.
Oh, what did Papago say?
하고
Say
이게 잘
We trust technology.
안 맞더라고요. 네, 제가
Do you really?
I prefer not to lean on technology.
Yeah, me too. Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
나는 지금 책을 읽고 있다. 이게
Because
잘 안
it's,
맞더라고요.
you lose
노이즈
some,
때문에.
I think, in the inaccuracy is the humanity, and that's what you value, right?
She said that her life,
고양이다 씨.
and she always tried to tie her life with artistic work. So without artist work, to her is everything to her life, and the valuable, the philosophy or the reason why she live. So without those, she probably cannot live. So kind of things. So I understand it that way.
Yeah.
So she didn't define art still.
Wow.
That's the most difficult things to define. She said.
Yeah. Actually, I'm curious about you, like scientists and engineers, like in your work. Do you? I mean, I'm just curious. How much, generally, are people like motivated by like? How do I say this? Like, a sense of control, or wanting to, control some, or wanting to discover some unknown, or do people find some like homeostasis within some like process of becoming, and that's where the joy is with it, in before you get to the end, like that, like the process. Is that what motivates a lot of people? Or is it like, getting there, to know this by this time or whatever, I'm just curious.
Yeah. So to me, I'm not sure. David Kim and Dr. Kim have different idea and opinion, but to me, if you ask high school students who would like to be a scientist in their future, they mention that's the only reasons I would like to be a scientist. But college and expert in scientific work, so they have those motivation in their mind, but they never actually motivated by them.
By the result?
Result.
Oh, okay. Huh. So is it like, do you think a lot of people have a feeling of play, like is still connected to this discovery in the moment, or a sense of play with what they do?
So that's the automatically connected to the definition of a science. So the people try to find some kind of the hidden, the principles, and the natural law, a lot of things. But so they start in that way, but end up with some kind of different result with the publications.
True.
To survive.
To survive.
Yeah. But in their papers, they actually pretend to express their way.
Oh, right.
But actually not. So they never use their sense and feeling when observing object from nature you mentioned.
Oh.
So which have the hidden connectivity to the other object in the world. But they always use what? Apparatus instead of their sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that you said that's learned behavior later on. You said younger students don't have this.
I'm not sure, so I'm old generation, but I guess yes.
Oh, okay. So it's a cultural trait.
Yeah, that's culture.
Okay.
Culture with a fixed frame. The culture is sometimes flexible. They have a flexible frame, but most culture in Korea, to my knowledge, to my understanding, so we don't have that flexible frame under cultures.
One reason I ask you is because I experienced that in a lot of art residencies too. I mean, especially more, like the better residencies, the less creative people are often, right? Because they're focused on the market, they know what they have to do, they have a show coming up, they have to sell this and this and this, and nothing interesting happens really, from just my experience. So, these two cultures run parallel to some degree. So I think what you said was really interesting about how did you put it? Focus on how do you say lateral thinking or something. Focus on how to react to a situation differently rather than A to B to C to D to get D to publish.
Habitual types of procedures.
And I'm just curious if there's any institutionalized practices or even common practices among the scientific community that I don't know, which allows them to sort of what is this? Don't say cup.
Unfortunately, we don't have other things we have. So that's why we invite artists into this institutional science expert university to shape them. Okay, so you visit there and throw your question.
Really? We can ask questions?
Yeah, questions. Why you are doing this one?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I find myself I started studying 6 months ago. I'm studying design at a polytechnic university. But I come from visual studies.
In Korea?
In Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
And so I come from humanities and visual studies background. And so all of a sudden I'm in the lab with a bunch of sort of AI engineers and stuff, and I can see that they come at these, they look at a design problem as from a very kind of simplified method, and sometimes I just think, well, what is the, so I've been encountering this the last few months also, like what's my role in this scene, and then I mean, their method is not invalid, neither is mine. But then how do you, when you put some oil and water together, can you still cook?
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, sometimes it tastes good. Yeah. Yeah.
That is also nature. Nature.
You mean the...
Yeah. Even opposing poles, they encounter each other sometimes. So in nature, so we have a positive, negative movement. So absolutely different, but they can be in harmony.
Or it's like, maybe, what's the word? I mean, you need to have some entropic force to, to sort of disrupt some habituated ways of reacting to things, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that why evolutionary theorists think that all around the world, 10% of the people are left-handed in every culture? That for some reason, we need to have like 1 in 10 people who can do something differently when the moment comes. Something like that. Maybe it's part of evolution.
Okay. Okay, and so I'd like to understand the kind of a systematic approach with art. What do you think? So this is my second question. So when we are trying to make a system with art, what could be the possible way to implement this way to make our community, which is more freely organized, sometimes without any structure, even if we use the system. So then you produce during this residency to make some kind of work to be a part of our system of art. So generally, artists make their work without any systematic approach. So then, so because we come together to contribute to our community, so I feel so. Of course, so you don't have to agree, but if you agree, so we can try to make element to be a component of our work for the month. So what do you think? So what is your opinion of this one? You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Okay. Marty, you first. Any question? Any opinion?
Well, I'm not totally sure I understand your question, but are you saying how can we develop a systematic approach which can then be adopted by the larger scientific community? Or
artistic.
Yeah, artistic approach, which can be like legitimized and adopted.
Sure.
Okay. How to do it? Yeah.
If you bring your artwork into this community to be some kind of information to be delivered to other person. You know what I'm saying? So what is the major component of the system? So we need the communication. We need information to deliver to other person. That's the communication definition. So with the artist's work, can we communicate? Because we are doing individually. But sometimes we need to communicate with your artwork. That's my question. Second question.
Well, I have just a question or suggestion. Do you think that it's important to be able to interrelate outside of the roles that we perceive each other to be in?
Between yours.
Or even between artists and scientists.
Yes.
You know, what if there's like a communal space where...
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like a lunchroom. Everyone's equal.
Yeah.
Same for something where it's like.
Lunchroom, so do you bring your work?
Yeah. Or,
During lunchtime, you bring your work to be delivered to other persons as a means of communication information.
well, as a way to gather information.
Okay.
You know, because in order to develop better systems, we have to understand the, you know, like not just from an observational outsider,
Mm.
kind of anthropological looking thing, but somehow like how do I humanize the other so that I know I could potentially know myself within their role,
Mm.
and therefore know how to better adapt what I'm making. I would think so some sort of neutral space.
Okay. We are trying to set up.
Yeah,
Right?
this table's a good start.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good to mind.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm not quite sure. What do you mean with system?
Okay.
What system are you talking about? In your question, you started with
Okay.
system.
So I understand. I try to understand system with information. So even artist is a lonely person, but they also contribute to our community through information. So you have your information, obtain your observation of some kind of object from the world. So you have your own sensational kind of things onto your mind, your head, without any discipline you mentioned. So, and then you bring those exposed to us as information. So we can accept your information or we can reject your information. That's the system, how system operates. So during your residency. So then we change based on your information, based on information.
That is it only two, accept or reject?
No, that's binary system, but so you may propose quarterly, tertiary, right? So we are artists right now. We should be flexible.
I'm not sure I'm producing information.
Okay.
I think it's the wrong word.
Yeah, long words might be, yes. So you have to use, you can use different terminology. How we actually connect each other, that's the mind engaging questions.
Maybe it's, I mean, you know, we are talking about works, so we make works. But the work is working, it is something that sort of operates on us. And I think my information is this possibility to interact with something in any way that people wish to. So I'm not transferring information.
Okay. Well, your working itself could be information.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
I think most artists have some kind of speculative methodology which they somehow use, maybe intuitively, maybe in the framework of this residency.
Okay.
But I'm reluctant to accept that it would be some form of transmitting information.
Okay. I agree.
I think it transmits possibilities, possible perspectives, but it's not transmitting information like you would have in some semiotic model.
I'm not talking about the actually obligation to be accepted kind of transmission into the forceful acceptance. So we have a freedom to reject, or you have a freedom to not actually deliver your work to other person.
Do we have freedom? for that? Really?
Yeah, because we have to. Yes, you have.
Really?
What kind of freedom?
I would say it's conditioned response mostly. Like I see it in artwork being installed, and like I don't have a choice whether or not my body tenses up, and I'm just like, ugh.
Okay.
And then I have thought process about it. You know, I would say. I mean, can I really be objective about that? I don't know.
I don't know either, but
I mean,
yes.
sorry,
No.
I mean, with this kind of post-modern critique in the 80s, 90s, it is clear that this kind of objectivity is quite illusory. So certain processes generate certain responses, and it's all very much questionable in itself.
It's reflexive, I think. It leads to a certain reflexivity. Without being too self-indulgent, I think there is a certain amount of reflexivity in that. I'd say that's common to, I think, both parties, I think. The person who makes the art, the person who experiences it.
Words may be different, but even with reflexive methodology, we have a margin. So on the margin, we actually travel through this one, but this could be systematic, to some degree. So I probably use a different or wrong terminology, but so to be interactive with each other. So we have a margin, not from any restriction and condition, but considering other person's paper. We have a margin.
But then you put it on the level of interhuman kind of interaction. While before that you talked just about scientists and artists as a kind of genera, which kind of flowed, so independent of each other. And I think it kind of suddenly slips into just in human relationships. I think that's one problem. It's kind of double mind.
Okay.
I can have very good relationships with people, but we never agree what he or she thinks about art. My possibility would be also to question whether a certain scientific position is maintainable philosophically. Sort of science philosophy around mainly kind of trying to legitimize certain processes within disciplines, different scientific disciplines.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why we do this science work to break those things.
But that can be only always an offer, not kind of information.
Sure.
For me, I would like to just, because I'm not part of the scientific community at all. Like,
Either.
but like, I would just be curious to hear like, what do you think are the bigger like pressure points, the things that need to be, the points that need massaging or popped or whatever, things that, like you just were saying, like ways of, like a blind spots method, or ways of interrelating, or opportunities that are overlooked for thinking differently in certain stages. Like, because I don't know much about, so yeah, it'd be nice to have a little like pamphlet. Say, oh, these are the. I'm just curious what you would think they are.
That's a good question. Different questions. Actually, nobody actually tried. Not nobody, but very few, very little person actually trying to collaborate in a multidisciplinary way. So to make something out of world together with an artist. So because they always been pressurized by government, by the institution in terms of publication. So instead of being interested in the hidden order of the world, they always try to publish it. So with the flower, with the bacteria, with the energy stuff, so they skip every sensory perception, observation, so jump into other documentation, evidence to be utilized into patent and publication. So they teach that students as well, so from generation to generation. So that's why when you work with the scientists, that they absolutely different person.
The what?
Different person.
They
are very different.
Oh.
Very different. So they never, not never, but okay. I have to be careful about this one. They never object. They use microscope. They use electromagnetic apparatus. So they believe in number. They don't believe in their image sense at all.
Freaked out.
Yeah. But artists always try to get sensory image, sensory sensation from the world. I believe, to my understanding. So there are a big gap between two worlds.
How much of it is like, I'm just curious, how limiting do you think is the context of the laboratory environment itself for inhibiting like divergent thinking or thought patterns? Like if you take scientists out of the lab, put them in soul land, okay, or something, will they be able to think differently? So how much of it is context, or even, when you put on the robe, then okay. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay.
What do you think?
Let me take an example so with Africa. So there are epidemics right now.
Oh.
So if you send the doctor without any drug, whatever.
He helps people a little, or she helps people a little. Not much.
Little, not much, or something. Do you think are there any things for doctor to help them?
Psychosomatic. People think a doctor is here, they feel more comfortable.
Without drug, even psychologists, that they use drug many times.
Yeah, placebo.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
Placebo, yeah, of course, but get exactly the same side. So if you put the students in scientific area, put them without any kit, without any apparatus, most not. They never actually exposed to bad conditions.
So if you take them, like last year we were here, we took some students for like a workshop in the mountains, and like I remember like it's interesting to notice like how the students were still doing something creative, but they were trying to figure out if it was possible from like a physics point of view. Oh, like this would be really beautiful if this leaf could float with the spider on it in the water with something. But okay, so that's their vision. But then their method of trying to solve it was from what they know. And because they were in a different context, they were out of the lab and in the mountain. I wonder if they felt more free to just play.
Do you think they connected those experiences to their real world?
Real world? You mean in the lab?
Yeah.
I mean, consciously, I doubt it. But for me as an outsider, I observe like, oh, they come about this activity in a different way than like my design students or whatever. But they still but they still have vision, and they still do make work.
Design is possible in that way, but chemistry and chemical engineering and civil engineering,
True.
yeah, that's not possible.
But I mean, being outside of the lab, I mean, like, you know, in a different context, you know, that's
The
why.
only reason they try to be outside of the lab is sampling. Sampling and to bring those into lab again to be analyzed by apparatus.
That's why I asked about what does play mean to scientists.
Okay.
You know, it's, yeah, like an unstructured.
AR types.
Really?
To be replaced in the future.
Oh God.
Space.
The future is beautiful. Yeah.
I'm too much. I'm too skeptical.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. So I'm curious.
Okay. We will keep this issue agenda throughout this residency. 그래서 우리가 그 여기 계신 선생님들을 재봉생들을 랩에도 이렇게 한번 모시고 가서 설명을 드릴 거예요. 예, 그때 이제 너무 큰 기대보다는 이제 뭔가 그 이런 국가에서 지원받는 과학자나 공학자 대학원생들이 어떤 생각을 하고 있고 또 어떤 연구를 하고 있고 이런 것들을 그냥 있는 그대로 받아들여 주셨으면 좋겠어요. 예, 너무 큰 기대를 한다는 이런 것보다는 같이 해서 뭐가 만들어질 수 있는지에 대한 가능성을 이렇게 고민하는 자리 그렇게 좀 생각을 해주셨으면 더 좋겠고 또 그 학생들한테 그 학생들이 하고 있는 것에 대해서 또 질문을 던져주고 또 학생들이 이런 질문들이 예술가로부터 나한테 올 수도 있구나 이런 생각들 가질 수 있도록 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. So this is the last and third question and the last question. Not question, but kind of a gender. So we are doing, so as I introduce our ScienceWalden Center with the different problems, the alienation of individuals and economic inequality, 경제적 불균형. So I'm not sure this one could be solved by artists and scientists solely. We probably get together to introduce a new concept. So one of those is physics standard money. So physics standard money, we put its original value into the human itself instead of labor and other things. So please pay attention to you if you are interested in this the concept. So you don't have to put anything into your work, but this is the concept proposed by ScienceWalden. Okay. So this is the last agenda to be discussed with the money. Everyone crazy about the money, so on, because that's why we make money, right? But fake money or so if you have any question about this money, please. So you don't have to.
I have a lot of questions, but maybe next time. I'm pretty tired.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, but I'm curious about it. I'm curious about is how psychologically people's ideas of purity, and, which are so, prevalent culturally over here. Sort of how you challenge or confront or integrate or deal with these sort of ingrained, because like impurity is not, that's learned, or contamination is a learned trait, so like how, I'm just curious how this kind of project confronts these deep psychological sort of sensibilities. Yeah, but that's
So we also try to analyze the value of this business and the money in a psychological way, using consciousness sometimes, but so we also try to set this one in a systematic way as well. Okay. The reason why, so we are using systematic approach and consciousness approach as well, both. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not behavioral person, so I'm not a philosopher, but I try to be. I try to understand what could be ways to promote this new concept to help to contribute to our society in a very different way. So during your stay, so please give us your opinion. So first the thing is, so we would like to shake your underlying value standard. So if you buy one Coca-Cola beer, so you have a certain standard in your mind, in your head. This is expensive, to decide whether this is expensive or just cheap, according to, based on your time, based on your salary, based on your labor, but we would like to shake it. Because we have a problem in the present economic system under social as well as the capitalism. We have a lot of things to talk, but you are tired, so I think we have to end very soon. Okay? Yeah.
Well, don't end it just because of me.
No.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, also.
But I'm
It's supposed to be 1 hour maybe. So.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, so are we gonna have more chances to talk about this stuff?
Anytime. So.
Really?
If you call along, so
Really?
I'm always ready.
Cool.
This is residency.
This is.
Residency means you don't have to
Good morning.
anywhere to escape. 예. 제가 동문이 협회라는 게 우리가 이제 좀 추구하는 것이고 중에 하나라는 거죠. 그게 다는 아니고 여러 가지 개념들이 있고 또 소개를 해드리겠지만 이제 동문이 협회가 지금 현재 좀 많이들 우리가 같이 고민하고 있는 주제고요. 동문이 협회라는 건 돈이잖아요. 돈인데 그 가치 기준이 이제 사람한테 있는 거거든요. 그래서 이제 그런 부분들을 계시는 동안은 좀 고민도 같이 해주시고 같이 토론도 하는 자리를 가지고 이제 그게 꼭 여기 계신 이제 작가 선생님들의 작품에 안 들어가도 되지만 그런 마음들을 가지고 좀 이렇게 토론들을 했으면 좋겠다 그런 생각입니다. 동분의 합의의 기준은 이제 사람한테 있다는 겁니다. 한 사람의 돈이 수세식 화장실로 해서 자연으로 나가지 않고 이게 에너지가 만들어졌을 때 생기는 가치가를 기준으로 딱 놓고 빵, 코카콜라, 비어, 집 한 채, KTX 비용들이 이 기준에 비교했을 때 어떻게 되는지를 우리가 고민함으로써 새로운 가치 기준을 좀 가지기를 원하는 그런 좀 무브먼트, 운동 같은 거죠. With that, we have to study value-added productions, alternative flushing toilet. So a lot of things. We have to understand what money is, what kind of history money has been experiencing from the Roman through China dynasties and so on.
There's a book called Philosophy of Money.
How much is it?
If you need that, I can buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, send to buy.
Oh,
You.
really?
Yeah, please list it so
that'd
we
be
can.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it should be out of copy. Simmel.
How do you spell it?
Simmel.
Silo.
gym man. We call him as a gym man, right? Georg gym man, right? George gym man.
So you
That's it. This much thick.
How big is
So
this?
you are very handsome.
Oh, but you recommend it?
I think it's
Pretty critical.
interesting.
You ready?
Yeah, it's a
That's
party.
possible.
Party.
That's not possible.
Like it's right
We
there.
don't.
I didn't read everything, but my teacher in Berlin wrote his PhD on
I see.
so it was always sort of in the room.
Let's see if I can find a PDF.
Mm.
online. That'd be cool.
I think so.
Just download one.
Sweet. Really? From like LibGen or what? Just Google?
I just googled it.
Really?
It's not bad.
Nice. Is it the full text? It's the full thing?
Seems like
Yeah, it's massive. That's cool.
That's the
Cool.
real market.
Yeah, I love the black market. That's value of money. Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
No.
Also,
Maybe
we
it's-
have, yeah. Also, we have another book titled Anthropology of Money.
Anthropology of money.
Anthropology
Anthropology of
of
money.
Money. Yes. I think that's much thinner than this book. Much easier
It's 19th
to
century.
read. Yeah, this is classic.
Oh, this is 19th century? Ooh, really?
This is from sociology.
Yeah, it's kind of
Sociology.
German
Yeah,
sociologist.
The similar text?
It's
Really?
He wrote on everything. He's quite sort of impressionistic writer.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Picks out points.
yeah,
It's quite funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Wrote about everything.
yeah.
And this was when the Industrial
Genius.
Revolution
No,
was
no,
like
yeah.
going crazy?
Yeah, end of the 19th century, early 20th century.
And he was British? Or is he
No,
German?
German.
Oh.
German do everything.
Yeah. Wow. Just sometimes too well. Yeah. That's cool. So also if you, so if we find some text which might be relevant, we could suggest it also?
You can send me email if you want to buy some books I can buy
Cool.
using our fund.
Sweet. Oh, very good.
Yeah, it's possible. Artist book as well. 혹시 이렇게 뭐 필요한 재료나 책 같은 거 있으시면 얘기해 주시면 구입해 드릴 수
Who's the other
있고.
book, Anthropology?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the author of the book Anthropology Money? Didn't you say there was a second text, the Anthropology Money? Or did I not understand?
Morton, some kind of things.
Morton?
Morton.
M-O-R-T-E-N. 10 seconds or less. Technology, don't fail me.
That's not it.
No.
So we have a Bradley, Professor Bradley Tartar, who is majorly anthropology. I think you met.
Sweet.
So sometimes we can bring him into this residency to talk about
Yeah, you should.
his ideas, his perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know any like mythologist? Some like mythology, you know, scholar, something like that. Would be really interesting.
Yeah, can. Okay.
But probably not at the school, but
Okay.
or psychologist.
Yeah, psychologists we have,
Against methods.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have a-
that's the answer.
we have one psychologist, but she's going to leave
Oh.
university very soon.
Oh,
That was
really?
also unfortunately
Oh.
interesting. 그 뭐라 자폐증. Who major is about that? Our autism.
Autism.
Autism. Okay. Yeah.
Dean Museum. And like, what is Tartar, the anthropologist? What's he research?
Culture anthropology. Culture anthropology.
Oh, yeah.
Interested in whale in Ulsan area.
Whale?
Culture of whale.
Like the
Whale.
big fish?
Yeah, big fish. Not big fish.
I mean, it's not a fish.
We're making a fish.
I'm just checking. Whale? They have whales here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Ulsan is very famous.
For whales?
Hmm.
Really?
Also,
What kind of whale?
Ghost whale.
Wait. Human culture in relation to whales he's interested in?
Yeah, some kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not whales country.
Not, okay, they haven't, you know, supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
really, I saw it when I was young.
I've never seen a whale in my life, actually.
No?
Never.
울산.
Yeah.
You could see the
Rock, paper, sculpture.
Asian people made this one on the rock.
Oh, really?
2,000 years ago.
Oh!
You see in
Yeah.
Ulsan.
We tried to see it, and it was, we got flooded out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Impossible to see.
Can we see it this month, do you think? Is it too
I think
wet?
so, yeah.
I think
Is
so.
it
If you want,
possible?
we can arrange.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Because last time we tried to go, but it was too much water,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we couldn't go across.
It's dependent on your luck.
Well, I wanted to go, they wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I can swim.
I
So
know.
it's okay. You
It's
know?
not for me. Yeah.
It's not permitted. Oh, so even like humans cannot go. Oh, I never saw
I
it.
never been there. So.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's a so beautiful place.
really?
암각화 가보셨어요?
아니요.
Yeah.
Oh, we should go. That's what you're
Yeah.
about.
It's on
So
binocular.
beautiful.
Well, remember they had it. I still couldn't see it from the
Yeah.
binoculars.
It was too narrow.
Yeah.
진짜 예쁘거든요.
Yeah.
산책하기.
You know,
like
should bring binoculars.
If we have them.
차 있으면 진짜 좋은데.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So thank you for your allowing your time with me, and this is the first introduction of the residency.
I have one question.
Sure.
What happens with this kind of workshops or communication with the other departments?
Other department.
Yeah, do you have any kind of workshop plans or talk plans or?
Yeah,
So
so this Thursday,
Mm.
starting from 2 p.m., we have open lab.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm supposed to send this plan to you, but I
Fail.
forgot.
Fail.
So I'll just tell you now.
Oh.
So today we just had a first meeting. And on Thursday, 목요일에 2시부터 오픈되어 있고요. So yeah, there will be open lab on this Thursday, starting from 2 to about, I guess, 2 hours. And next week there is nothing to make you concentrate when you want to. And on 18th, Thursday, we'll have a workshop with the curator.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The time hasn't been decided yet. I will send you an email on Thursday, but the time hasn't been decided. And on 29th, Monday, is the last day. No, not the last day, but I think there will be open studio.
Okay.
29th, so you will have a chance to present what you have done
Okay.
for a month.
Whenever we have a plan to visit here, so because you are living here, so we are going to ask you whether it is possible to open this lab
Oh, okay.
with the visitors. Okay.
And if we want to like just look around, explore, like, just look at things, who should we call?
What kind of things?
What you got? Whatever you have. Basically.
This is all I got.
Good enough. Good enough. What's under the sticker? I've been wondering all day. Yeah.
Just add more,
I know, I'm joking. But so neatly trimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this science cabin, so contact with her.
Oh, okay.
And
She's manager.
I have one schedule I want to share with you guys.
Oh,
Maybe 9,
9.
Right.
Okay.
2 p.m. to 3 p.m. There are 30 people, exactly like high school student visitor here.
Okay.
1 hour. Please understand the situation. Maybe this place, public area here, kitchen and
Okay.
common area.
Okay.
I don't want to enter into your private show.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Please understand. 30 people.
Okay.
And then 5 o'clock, maybe you guys, I sent the email before. Another experiment team visitor and explain to you about how the experience is gonna be processed.
It's tomorrow, you said?
Oh no, today.
Oh, today.
30 minutes later.
Okay.
And then you don't need to join with the jury. You can choose. Okay, participate in the experiment.
Experiment. Oh, this is the wristband thing? Is that right? There was an email said some wristband. Is it like shock collars or something?
No.
What is it? GPS locators?
Yeah, GPS locator.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Oh God, they're watching me. You know?
Okay.
Oh,
You
interesting.
don't need to. You can choose.
I'm
Really, you can
curious.
choose.
I'm curious. Yeah.
Someone is come here and
Oh.
explain about how they are doing about this thing. You
Okay.
can choose to join or not.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah, it's 100% up to you.
Okay, but we can check it out first and then
Yeah.
decide.
Okay.
Okay.
Just here, just here.
Oh, and like, is there a place to get lesson kimchi or something? Some like, is there a place to just get some? I haven't eaten Korean food in like a few months. I'm going crazy. I need to eat some just good banchan.
You wanna buy or
This Thursday
wanna
we
make
send
here?
them
I wanna
to,
eat it.
2 p.m.
Is there a restaurant?
Restaurant? What restaurant? Maybe only school restaurant.
Okay. 1 to 10. How bad is it? The school restaurant. You know,
I think
like
4 to 5.
You can't
4 to
imagine.
5.
You can't imagine.
I was gonna say 2 to 3, but this is Eunice. It's pretty high class. So okay, it's like 4 to 5.
Restaurant,
Oh. So we are here. Restaurant
my
is.
degree is 4.
Huh? You're 4,
Not 5.
really? Not no. But I mean, it's hard to make kimchi taste bad, right? It's so easy to make. Oh really?
I think so.
Oh, God.
김치찌개 안 팔죠?
How is it?
시계
Oh,
maybe they're not
really?
saying.
There are sundaeus.
Sundaeus.
around here.
Yeah, well, I just miss your Korean.
Sundae with hot taste.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, give us another style sundae. It's great. Okay, and then I just go in there and pay cash. Is that right? Or how does it work?
You have card.
Which kind of card?
Credit card.
Doesn't have credit card.
Oh, I have a bank card. You like this? Okay.
Can use it.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
There's a ticket machine.
So I push the one that I want.
You can use cash as well.
Really?
There are ATM machine over
Okay. Oh, and so just one more like logistic question. If I want to like go to the city, what's the best way?
there. Use taxi.
Taxi, 정치사. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, where's the bus stop?
Bus time?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes by walk.
Oh, really?
We are